Hello guys, this is Revolution. So on this video we are going to surprisingly be talking about Goku's weakness. Now chill out, I'm not downplaying Goku, but it was apparent in episode 130, an amazing episode by the way. We saw Mastered Ultra Instinct, the silver-haired iteration of Ultra Instinct, Goku's most powerful form to date, get hit not just once, but multiple times by an awakened Jiren. In fact, in episode 130 alone, I counted Ultra Instinct Goku getting hit 6 times in total. Now, if you've been following my channel, you'll know that I've talked very in depth about Goku's Ultra Instinct transformation, the state of mind transformation, and you'll also know that I've said many a times that despite being extremely formidable, Ultra Instinct is not quite impenetrable. Now, I'll get into that in this video because essentially, whilst I wouldn't really call it a weakness, it is essentially the only weakness Goku has in Ultra Instinct. Now, I'm just going to take the moment to do an I told you so. This isn't directed at all of you, but I've stated many times in my videos that Ultra Instinct for Goku is a transformation. It's a transformation that comes with the ability of Mastery of Self Movement. Mastery of Self Movement in of itself is an ability, but Goku cannot utilize it unless he transforms. At the end of episode 130, Goku reverted back to his base when the toll of being in the state of the gods had become too much for his body. He reverted back to his base. It was quite evident that Ultra Instinct, the silver hair and the silver eyes are not part of his natural state. He has to transform into that state. He has to transform his mind state to use Mastery of Self Movement, to use Ultra Instinct. It's not his natural state. Anyway, if you've been arguing with me about that, I told you so. Anyway, so like I said, Goku got hit 6 times in Dragon Ball Super episode 130 by an amped up, enraged Jiren. You could call him an awakened Jiren by all means. He was cornered by Ultra Instinct Goku and he let out an enormous amount of power. And upon gaining that power, he was able to hit Mastered Ultra Instinct Goku. And there's quite a few members in this community, including some Dragon Ball YouTubers, who seem to believe that Ultra Instinct was completely impenetrable and that the fact that Goku took hits in Ultra Instinct has completely devalued the form. I beg to differ. We know that Goku isn't the first character to attain Ultra Instinct. We know for a fact that Whis has Ultra Instinct. He revealed this in episode 18 of Dragon Ball Super. In fact, for Whis and potentially all the angels, Ultra Instinct is their natural state. They are in it all the time. They do not have to transform like Goku. Yet not only did we see in episode 71 and 72, in a training session, Vegeta in Super Saiyan Blue managed to tag Whis 97 times. Whis wasn't injured, albeit, and Vegeta was absolutely exhausted, but he still managed to do it against a character with Ultra Instinct. And then in episode 91, Goku managed to bite Whis when they trained in the gravity chamber just before the Tournament of Power. If you paid close enough attention to the show, the signs have all been there. Especially when Goku managed to bite Whis in episode 91, it was almost a foreshadowing. It was from point blank range. There was literally nothing Whis could do to dodge the bite. Some people have tried to advocate that by utilizing Ultra Instinct you will dodge absolutely everything. But if that was the case, why in episode 55 did Whis admit that he won't be able to beat his father, the Grand Priest? Now that's another thing I said as well. I once said there was levels to Ultra Instinct. Maybe levels isn't entirely the most accurate word to use, but I hope you get what I mean by it. The fact that Goku can keep increasing his power in Ultra Instinct. We saw in episode 130 that Goku actually increased his speed mid-fight, which means the Ultra Instinct he had at the start of the episode wasn't as good as the Ultra Instinct he had at the end of the episode. And it most likely still isn't as good as Whis' Ultra Instinct. So guys, here's why I always knew that Ultra Instinct, despite being an amazing ability to have, wasn't quite impenetrable. We've been told exactly what Ultra Instinct is. In fact, in episode 18, that far back in Dragon Ball Super, they told us that the Ultra Instinct ability is literally removing the thought process and increasing your speed. We literally said exactly that to Goku and Vegeta in that episode. You lack speed. He implied that they should train each body part to learn to move on its own and remove the thought process, because the thought process in itself takes time. By removing that thought process, you increase your reaction speed. I mean, if you go back to episode 116, Bado says when Ultra Instinct Omen Phase 2 Goku is fighting Super Saiyan 2 Kefla that her power and speed are impressive, but Goku's reaction speed is better and she couldn't hit him. All Ultra Instinct essentially is reaction speed unhindered by the thought process. But this is not instantaneous movement. Goku's body parts, despite not being hindered by the thought process, his body parts still have to move from position A to position B. His body is still moving at a speed, and speed is measurable. His body parts still have to move at a velocity and a trajectory. So what happens when you come up against an opponent that can, despite not having Ultra Instinct himself, can move at such speeds that far surpass the speeds that you are capable of, even though you have mastery of self-movement? What if the combination of your natural own speed and the removal of the thought process still doesn't match up to an opponent that has that natural speed? So let's just say Yamcha hypothetically gained access to Ultra Instinct. Now I know that's never going to happen, but just go along with it for now. But he then fought against Super Saiyan Blue Evolution Vegeta, who is worlds and planes above Yamcha naturally in speed. Even though Yamcha no longer has that thought process impeding his movement, do you believe he would be able to outspeed and outpace somebody who was naturally a lot faster than him? Or do you believe that mastery of self-movement would put him at mastered Ultra Instinct Goku levels? Obviously that was just a hypothetical example, but hopefully you understand my emphasis behind it. Anyway, Goku came up against an awakened Jiren. In my humble opinion, this was Jiren breaking through his own shell. Obviously it was never stated, so that's just me speculating at this point, but he has very similar aura to that of Goku. Jiren was a behemoth at full power anyway, but it was noted upon him powering up that he had increased his power dramatically, not by any small margins. Who knows how much he increased his power, but it was essentially enough to overpower and outpace even mastered Ultra Instinct Goku. Essentially, by powering up, Jiren became a lot stronger than even mastered Ultra Instinct Goku, until he upset Goku by attacking his friends, and then Goku gained a friendship boost, or whatever you want to call it. But I've got to give credit to the fighting choreography in this fight, because they got it spot on. None of Awakened Jiren's regular attacks were able to even hit Ultra Instinct Goku, despite his power and speed advantage, yet his smart attacks did. If you just look back at some of the occasions that he managed to hit Ultra Instinct Goku. For example, he forced Goku to block one of his punches with his hands, but then exploded a ki blast in his hand whilst it was being blocked by Goku, which essentially was the first hit he landed on Ultra Instinct Goku. Just like Super Saiyan Blue Goku's bite on Whis in episode 91, it was from point blank range. He also sent a large ki attack towards Goku, which Goku's Ultra Instinct naturally blocked, but that also self-exploded whilst Goku was blocking it. They were smart strategic attacks, and then obviously we had that beam struggle where Jiren overpowered Goku. But if you notice, just before he does that, he literally lights up the sky around Mastered Ultra Instinct Goku. Mastered Ultra Instinct Goku was pretty much encased by these explosions. Then Jiren shot his beam through that encasing, and Goku was forced to use a Kamehameha to defend himself. That was his body naturally reacting to save him from harm. It was the right thing to do, but Jiren had more power and overpowered Goku. At that moment of the fight, Jiren had the speed and power advantage, and it was almost as if he was using Goku's Ultra Instincts against Goku. There are a few more occasions where Awakened Jiren lands on Ultra Instinct Goku, but I'm sure you get my point. The fact is that if you have superior speed and power, that far surpasses even the combination of the Ultra Instinct users' reaction speed and natural speed combined, then you can outpace the Ultra Instinct user. Don't get me wrong, it has to be an amazing advantage over the Ultra Instinct user. It has to be unfathomable speed. These characters are already moving massively faster than light, and add on a bunch of pluses. But I think unfathomable is definitely a word you could use about awakened Jiren. Add on top of that some clever strategy, and there are ways around Ultra Instinct. Add to that despite having completed Ultra Instinct and having the defensive and attacking aspects of Ultra Instinct down, Goku is still an unexperienced Ultra Instinct user, and he showed whilst the battle was going on that he can keep increasing his speeds and his power in Ultra Instinct. Ultra Instinct is not a set amount of power, as we found out when Goku got his friendship boost and then literally destroyed even an awakened Jiren. But Goku taking hits in Ultra Instinct came as no surprise to me. It was an absolutely incredible fight. In my humble opinion, the best fight we've seen in the whole Dragon Ball franchise period. Let me know your thoughts on that. I would also like to know whether you think a current Super Saiyan Blue Vegito could compete with Mastered Ultra Instinct Goku. Let me know in the comment section, and please do check out the video I released yesterday if you haven't seen it. The 10 strongest power levels in the Tournament of Power. I'll link it on the end screen of this video. Do check it out. Smash that like button, lend me your energy, subscribe if you haven't subscribed. Until next time, Ad Astra.